Hi everyone, this is Rion Paper. Why are my planners covered in cat hair? Well, let's do that again, shall we? Welcome to today's video, and in this video I want to take you through my planners, what I've been doing in the month of May, which today is May 30th. Tomorrow is the Dutch Band Show in Utrecht, which I am very, very excited about. So yeah, that means that the month has almost come to an end and it's time to take a look at what I've been doing in my planners. And I think I normally start with the Hobonichi Weeks, so let's not do that this time and start with the Hobonichi A6. This is the Spring Start edition that I started in April, and I don't think I've missed I was going to say I haven't missed a single day in this planner. That is not completely true because I have sometimes skipped a day and then backfilled that day. But there isn't a single empty page for these past 2 months. So I'm actually quite happy about that. This is the basically the first thing in the planner is this calendar for this year, last year, and next year. I don't really do anything with this planner. Not with the planner, I mean with this calendar. And then we get to the sort of yearly index. I started this in April. I'm still sort of considering backfilling this specific layout for the months of February and March because I do get those 2 months on the left-hand side, but I don't know, it's not the most fun thing to fill out for 2 months at a time, so still kind of collecting some courage for that. I have filled out the minimum temperatures, maximum temperatures, and precipitation or lack thereof for these 2 months. I'm a couple days behind, which is usually the case. I get this data from the Dutch Meteorological Institute. You can basically just download a text file with all of their findings and all of the stuff they've measured for all of the weather stations, the points where they collect data all over the country. So I just looked up which one is the closest to where I live, and then I just download that data and copy it here. And that I found that especially quite useful for things like precipitation, just because that gives me good information about whether I need to take some extra care of some of our plants in the garden and stuff like that. But yeah, because it's kind of a hassle to, download the text file and then go to the correct dates and copy the data. I tend to do that not every morning, but just like once every 5 days or so. So quite happy that after weeks of having no to almost no rain, I'm really glad that we've had quite a rainy week. I quite like the rain in general. But it's been especially really good for our plants that were starting to look a little bit sad. And then we go to the next layout, which is the monthly calendar. So with the daily pages start from April, but in this planner you also get the monthly calendar for February and March. But I haven't done anything with that. Then we get to the this was April, and then this is May. This is my mood tracker where I use a colored dot to indicate my kind of the general mood for the day. Sometimes it's 2 moods. Usually the first dot is like the start of the day, and then the other color is sort of what note I ended the day on. I think this was probably the 5th of May was probably the first time where I noted 3 moods. And then I write a tiny little note about what kind of day it was. Was it an office day, a work from home day? Did I have a day off? Did I have something social planned? Was I productive? Did I sleep well or not? Just something that influenced my mood for the day. I can see at a glance that this month has been a lot of green and yellow, which is good. Those are the good colors, the good moods. Green is kind of a relaxed, peaceful mood. It's usually days where I feel like I can just breathe easily, and sometimes I'm quite productive, sometimes I'm not, but it's always sort of a peace of mind kind of day. And then the yellow days, which funnily enough is very often on a Monday, and that is because Monday is one of my days off. So where I used to always have a bit of a Monday slump, usually I quite like my Mondays now because I tend to be like recharged from the weekend, and then I can really do a lot of things from my personal to-do list before I even have to start work for the week. So I quite like that. But yeah, those are the kind of productive, energized days. And then what's also kind of interesting is that Thursday is usually my busiest day at the office, where I have the most meetings, where a lot of people are in the office. So it's always very, very busy, very intense for a poor little introvert like me. But yeah, I usually mark those with this sort of tan sand color, which is like my neutral color, where it was okay. I didn't love it, didn't hate it. It was a day. It existed. And those tend to be my Thursdays. Then let's skip all the way to the month of May, which started with this lovely color page illustration sticker. And I just did some writing. I use all kinds of pens, stickers, etc. in here. And some days I write about the day, and some days I just write about my thoughts, something that I'm thinking of, some decisions, some just things I'm trying to, come to a good conclusion, or just things that keep on returning to my mind and that I just need to put onto paper to sort of make sense of it. That is basically what I do with my journaling. It's not so much memory keeping. Let's see. I will sometimes write the ink that I've written with if I feel like I want to remember it, or sometimes, which is kind of a little bit sneaky, I think, I just use it to fill up a tiny empty space where I'm like, the page doesn't feel balanced. Let's just write down the name of the ink or pen, and then suddenly the elements on the page look a little bit more balanced. And, it can be everything. Like I was just writing that I was journaling while I was watching the Honkai Star Rail 2025 concert on YouTube. And here I was making a list of inks that I want to try soon. And I still need to try this one, the Diamine Cardinal. I almost forgot. I tend to write things down that I want to remember and then not go back to the pages, which is not ideal. Let's see. I love the intense colors of these three stickers on the left. I think I got these from my sister, and I don't know where she got them. It might have been Korea. It might also have been Japan, but I think she got these from Korea. Yeah, so nothing too special that I was writing about, I think. Another list of inks, this time inks that I still needed to swatch on a little A7 watercolor card, which is one of my favorite things to do, swatching inks on those kind of cards because they always look so nice. I don't have one with me right now. but maybe you've seen them in another video. I was just kind of rambling about how I'm always a little bit in my, how do I put that? Like how I'm so in my head all the time, and I'm just always kind of thinking, and sometimes I find it very hard to just, not think and just not finish a thought, not that it doesn't have to make sense, whatever I'm thinking. I kind of always want to completely finish what I'm thinking of. So sometimes I'll be on the train and I want to read a book, but then suddenly I think about something that maybe I need to do, and then I'll start thinking about, but how am I going to do that, and what implications is that going to have, and do I have time for that, and just all kinds of things, and I just cannot pause that. And that's just something that I was writing about, that I kind of want to work on that, to just be able to appreciate that a thought is coming in and not do anything with it. He was writing a little bit about whether I want to, I think I also wrote something about that earlier, that I maybe want to switch from Notion to Anytype for my digital notes. I love doing things analog, like on paper. I mean, my YouTube name is Rue on Paper for a reason. But I also have a Notion, well, not anymore because I made the switch to Anytype. But I also have a place where I store my digital notes, and that's mostly for things that I want to be able to reference or to easily expand upon. So when I write something about a specific subject and I want to be able to go back and just add space without having to, somehow stick in another page or so in a notebook. I like the fact that it's not so linear for some types of notes. And I was getting increasingly frustrated with Notion. It was getting so slow. I hate the fact that they are online only, or like you have to have an internet connection to be able to load your notes. They are not stored locally. And they keep adding all kinds of AI features and all kinds of like tools. They added a whole email system thing that I'm just not interested in. I just want to take good notes and have them look pretty and stuff, and be able to like link things and build my own kind of database system thing. So I finally made the switch to Anytype, but I still have to migrate a lot of data. But those are the kinds of things, this sort of decisions that I work out while journaling. Sort of, I come to the conclusion whether I want to do something or not while journaling about it. Yeah, I think this was... Oh, here I was journaling a little bit about the full moon horoscope for Sagittarius. I always get the sort of horoscope from A Magic of Eye. Like, I'm subscribed to that newsletter, and I don't read it like religiously, or I'm not like super invested in it, but I just like reading it, and mostly because and I also like copying some things into my journal, mostly because it helps me reflect about certain things, and it's just nice to pay attention to a specific like area of your life, and to really think about things. I really like how this page looks. I use this sort of border, landscapey border washi with all of the vases with flowers. I got this one from Journal Say. I think I showed it in my last video. And I used two inks that are not the same color, but that both are kind of represented in this tape, and they're from the same brand. And I just think that it looks really nice and cohesive for once. Here I used some stickers from London Gifties, and while I love both of these stickers, I think that the pages look kind of, I don't know, a little bit unbalanced. There's a lot of empty space up here because somehow I started to write here and didn't really think about that. But I also guess that this owl is kind of hard to write like around. I mean, this square is a lot easier. I wrote a tiny lyric from a song by Mexican duo Jesse y Joy. The song is called Lo que nos faltó decir, and it's so beautiful. Yeah, I mostly listen to like heavy metal, but I will also listen to Spanish ballads and like ballads in Spanish and all kinds of stuff. You know, a music genre for every mood, basically. This was when it was still really dry and I was craving some rain. The garden was starting to look a little sad and it was just like warm and dry, and I am not a summer person, if you hadn't guessed already, but I was just like, oh my God, can we please get some rain? So these stickers did not represent the weather at all, but mostly what I was just kind of wishing for. This was my affirmation. And I accidentally like made a what's it called, like a crease in the paper by placing the sticker down, and I tried to pull it up, but the paper started to rip. So I was like, okay, no, let's not do that, let's just accept it. Here I swatched a set of washi tapes. These are also from Journal Say, and I think I also showed them in my last video. I will admit I did this to fill these 2 pages because I was running a little bit behind on my journal. And I've seen a lot of people do this on YouTube where they swatch some of the new stationery items they get. And I just always thought that it looks really nice. And I had never really done that. So I put some strips of washi here. This is, I think, one of my least favorite pages from this month. I don't like how the color on the left really doesn't match with anything on the right. And the spacing of things on the right was really weird. This is when my new inks from Journal This came in. I was gonna not place an order with them because they were going to come to the Dutch Pen Show, and I had already made a list of the inks that I wanted to get from them. I got 4 of their inks last year, and they are so lovely. So I was really looking forward to seeing them again and getting some new inks, but unfortunately they had to cancel and they can't attend tomorrow. So I decided to just support them by placing an order, which I did together with my mom, and I gave my mom the things she ordered already. I love how this page looks. As you can see, like some of the pages, I don't think too much beforehand about what I want the end result to look. I just stick something down that I feel like sticking down, and I write with whatever pen I want to. And sometimes the end result is not great, and sometimes it just looks so nice. I think these stickers, these are some of my favorite stickers. And I'm so glad that there's so much on the roll. These come on a big washi roll. I have these from the washi tape shop, but these are not available anymore. I've had them for 2-3 years maybe. And I love them. They are so nice and colorful. And they go so well with the ink, which I hadn't really expected, but I think it looks nice. And so my sister and father went to the US to do a motorcycle trip. They rode part of the Route 66, which was something they'd wanted to do together for a long time. My mother and we don't ride a motorcycle, and I mean, I wouldn't even if you paid me. It just seems really, really scary to me. But yeah, my father and sister, they do, and they went to the US, and they brought me, my sister brought me a little souvenir, which is these 2 stamps that she got from Daiso. and they are so cute. And I wanted to try them out with some different ink colors. And I just think these are like really nice and functional. You can just like draw a tiny like a sticky note around it, and then use one of these clips or I'm blanking on the word, whatever the other thing is, to, just have some nice little decoration on the side. Let's see. Here I was in really good spirits. I was journaling about how my mood was really good for the past couple of days, and I was trying to sort of think about why that was. And I think it was mostly because I was kind of finishing some projects that I had going on, and I had just less things to think about or worry about at the same time. So I also wrote a little reminder for myself to not start too much stuff at the same time, and just keep it simple. Don't make it overly complex. And then this is yesterday and the day before. These 2 pages, they have the same layout and also the same text. It just continues. And this is the Gemini new moon stuff for Sagittarius that I copied from the Magic of I newsletter. I used this washi tape from the washi tape shop that I just sort of ripped horizontally to make these kind of borders. And it seems like a boring black ink, but I don't know if the camera is going to pick it up, but it's a shimmer ink with a blue shimmer. But the light may be a little too bright today to be able to see that. So yeah, then I still have to write something for today. It's still early in the morning. I haven't done any writing yet. And then this is tomorrow, which is probably where I'll write something on Sunday about how my Dutch pen show experience was. And then that is already all of May. I'm still really happy that I made the switch to this book. I love it. I think it's great. It's not too much to fill one of these A6 pages every day. And I like how I feel free enough to use all of my stickers, my pens, and not worry too much about it looking cohesive or like one specific theme or anything. So yeah, that is definitely going well. I'd say my planner, the Hobonichi A6 is basically more of a journal, and this is more my planner. I have used it, obviously, in May. I could never go without my planner. But I haven't used it as religiously as before, which isn't a bad thing. I feel less pressured to write something in here because ultimately this is just a tool to help me not forget the things that I need to do. So yeah, sometimes I feel the need to write down a lot of things. I guess that's usually when I'm really busy and there's a lot of things going on at the same time. And as that hasn't been the case that much this month, I also kind of noted that I used it a little bit less, or just like that my entries are shorter, that I will sometimes forget to cross off lists while I've done the stuff, etc. I've noticed that some of the cat stickers on the front are starting to fall off or like peel up at the corners. I could, obvious solution would be to either glue them down again or to use a clear cover on top of this. But I've said in the beginning of the year that I don't really like clear covers. I don't like how they feel and look. So I'm just the cats don't really leave kind of a glue residue on the planner itself. So I guess if they fall off, it doesn't really matter that much. Maybe by the end of the year, I'll peel them all off. I don't know. I guess we'll see. This one's definitely starting to bulk up a little. Let's find... Ooh, yeah. I was going to say, let's just skip my running log. In April, I was talking about how April was my best running month so far this year. Yeah, between us, April was still my best month because this month I've gone on 3 runs. I will go on a run later today, but still, that's 4 runs. That's not as much as I was planning, but it's fine. I've been moving. That's what counts. I have not much written in my monthly calendar, which was kind of the goal. I stopped writing down my work days and my office days and my partner's office days in my monthly calendar to sort of be able to see the more irregular things a bit easier. So I think that works. I mean, I do like it when the page looks very full, but I think this is more functional for me. Still need to set up June. I might have to do that today. Yeah. And then we have the weekly pages. This was the first half week of May. I was a bit disappointed that I had so much bleed through from the week before. With the Hobonichi Weeks, like a lot of people this year, I've noted that the paper isn't consistently bad, it's just very inconsistent. So I will have pages that work fantastically with my fountain pens that feel, I'd say, almost like the old Tomoe River paper we all know and love. And then there will be pages that feel like I'm writing on some kind of printer paper and everything bleeds through and feathers and suddenly an extra fine nib looks like a medium, and I don't know, next page everything's fine, which is obviously very annoying. But yeah, I'm like, for this year I'm gonna try to not be too bothered by that. But yeah, love these pear stickers, looks cute, I think. Then this week I had this sticker, this sort of, I don't know, kind of Chinese scene with a branch and some, what do you call that? Like textile decoration. I have no idea how to call that, but well, whatever this is. And these like nice lantern pieces. I've had that for the longest time, and I have nothing that matches with it because I got this as a tiny like sample sticker with an order once that I had like a bunch of different stickers that are all like a different illustration style. So I had nothing really that matched with this, but I did realize that I have 2 washi tapes that go really well. So I kind of made it work, and it works really nice as this sort of corner piece on the side of the Hobonichi Weeks. I wrote all of this with a different pen than I normally do because my pen ran out of ink and I wanted to clean it before I filled it up again. So this is suddenly like a different black ink in a different pen. And here I went back to my current favorite black pen and ink combination. Yeah, some stamp stickers with a bit of washi tape behind it. Here you can see that my to-do list for the week was really short compared to some of the earlier weeks this year. But it's also just a bit inconsistent how much I write in it. Like sometimes I do have a lot of things to do and I don't really feel the need to write all of them down or like to break them up in so many tasks because I don't know, I feel less scatterbrained. And sometimes I feel like, oh, I need to write down every tiny step because else I'm going to forget and I don't have the overview, and it just depends. So I'm glad that this layout is flexible and I can just really adapt it to what I need for that week. This week, I kind of forgot to finish my to-do list. I was working on it and I think I don't know, I got interrupted by something, and I thought I'm just gonna come back to it later, and then I never did, apparently. But I mean, we're still here, things still got done, so I guess I didn't need it that much. Oh, I love this week. This is like the current week, and I used again, these are from the same artist as these stickers that I love. They're a bit of a different color palette and different theme. These are like art supplies, and these are baking. And I have 4 more rolls. There's like gardening, sewing. What else is there? I don't know, something with flowers. And another one. But I love them. And I combined it with a Tombow Dual Brush marker that I think looks really nice with this color palette. I haven't crossed off anything yet, which is also something that I note with the right hand side. I will write down a to-do list for the week, and then I will come back to this page when I'm making my daily to-do list. I'll be like, okay, today I'm gonna do this and this and this, and then I could obviously cross off the things that I already did, but I usually don't, because when I go back to this page, that's usually when I'm filling out another page in this planner, like my daily plan. And I don't want to write on this page, because then I'll have wet ink on the page that can like smudge or transfer to the other page. I could obviously make something like a little bit of blotter paper in between. But I usually just come back at the end of the week and cross things off that I did. It's mostly a reference of the things that I wanted to do that week. And especially with things like making my yearly vet appointment for the cats. That is just something that I need to write down, because it's not part of my routine, of my system. And if I don't write it down, I will definitely forget. Whereas the steps for the video that I make almost every week, I write it down because I like having the complete overview, but I will probably still remember to do it, even if I didn't write it down. But yeah, this looks nice. And then still need to set up next week. And then the only thing left is the daily to-do lists, which start here with this lovely big sticker from, I think, Journal Say. It's probably from Journal Say. And the letters May. Yeah, nothing too special. It's just to-do lists with some stickers. And there is not really much to see here. Where last month I used, I think, the most pages so far, I didn't use as much pages this month. Mostly because there have been quite a lot of days where I didn't make a to-do list, because I just had very little things that I needed to do that day, usually on like work days, where I just like updated my planners, played some video games, had dinner, went to bed. Nothing too special. So it's usually for my days off and like weekends and stuff. And that is everything for this month. I have also kept up with my 5-year tacho. So that is going well. And that is it, basically. I think next week's video is going to be a Dutch pen show recap haul video. I was going to say what it's going to be like. I have no idea, actually. So we're just going to see. And I probably won't film too much at the pen show. It will probably be very busy. I know they're sold out. And so it's going to be super crowded, very noisy. I'm going together with my mom, so I also just want to, be able to talk with her and just like look at nice pens and talk to the vendors and makers and not really be, busy with filming. So it'll probably just be a recap and a haul video. But I hope that's all right with you. And I wish you a wonderful weekend and hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.